Egy rendkívül érdekes adás lesz most, srácok, hiszen itt vagyok Elivel, aki Andrew Tate-nek a marketingét segítette fölhúzni, és ott volt mellette, vele élt. Szóval rengeteg insightot fogtok kapni a mai adásban, hogy hogyan is húzták föl a világ leghíresebb personal brandjét. Nézzük meg marketinges szemmel.
There's no more jobs for humans. Even all the marketing stuff I'm talking about right now, it's going to be almost completely commoditized. Out of thousands of people who probably wanted that job, I got that job and eventually did very well at it.
The biggest mistakes that Hungarian companies have, that the sales and the marketing is always against each other.
People think he just sat down and instantly had some things to say. That's not the case. Nobody is born with the ability to speak and articulate their thoughts instantly. You can literally just text and type. If you're a professional, it's just information you need to receive, then you implement and you execute.
So how would you describe, what did you actually do in Andrew's ecosystem?
Sure. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me.
Yeah.
My name is Andrew Pampa, former head of sales and marketing at Tate from 2021 to 2023. Since then, I've launched my own consulting offer at Cloud Profit. We work with creators and marketers to scale their brands and businesses to 8 figures and beyond potentially. Now, in terms of what I actually did at the Tate operation, well, I first started as a salesman. I had a very humble beginning selling the War Room. I was amongst 40 people who were hired, but I quickly became the number one, started breaking all the records, then became head of sales, then managed my own team of up to 35 people. And then later on, we scaled that back a little bit because it was just too much. But we spoke to people on every medium, on Instagram, on Twitter, on X, on emails, on Telegram. We called people. Later on, I took on the role of head of marketing, and then we worked on funnels, worked on email campaigns, worked on creating VSLs, worked on managing Instagram accounts, worked on, from the sales side, bringing the relevant data towards the affiliate marketers, which Luke ran, and he managed that. And basically everything that's required to make a successful online operation.
Nice, but in the beginning, how did you get there? How did you get into the sales team? Like, did you reach out to Andrew or how?
Yeah, so the way that I actually got this opportunity to work with Tate is that I had first joined his group, The War Room, back in late 2020.
So you paid?
I paid him.
Okay.
I paid him 2K at the time.
Okay.
Right? And then later on, I got an upsell to go to one of in real life events in Miami, and I paid 12K for that. Back when I didn't have much money, that was in.
How old were you back then?
21, just turned 21.
Okay.
Right, it was April of 2021.
Nice.
And it's a very important lesson for people watching is that to get around these kind of people, to even have a chance in the first place, you can either, hope to accidentally come across someone like this and just bump into them, which could happen, right? But most likely you will have to pay to get around these people. And it's not even guaranteed that you will be able to, impress them to get an opportunity with them, but you still have to take that gamble because otherwise you're never going to get that chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I did that. I went there, paid 12K, rinsed my bank account, went over there and pitched myself to him, and he's like, all right, cool, I'll give you a job. Out of thousands of people who probably wanted that job, I got that job and eventually did very well at it, right?
So you were the only one who got the job in Miami?
In Miami, yes. There was a few others that were also hired in tandem from other sources, right? But eventually I became number one, right? And it's up to you. You have to take these opportunities and you have to destroy them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you got into the sales team, and did you also do the marketing? You made videos for him, or just the sales part of it?
So I started off as a salesman, and then became head of sales, and then later on I also got head of marketing.
You had a team, you said.
Yeah, as well. I evolved into that role.
Okay.
There's a very important relation you have to understand between marketing and sales is that marketing is just sales to many people without immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Right? The same way that you convince one person, the same way you're going to convince hundreds of thousands, even millions of people. It's all the same mind frame, it's all the same beliefs, it's all the same objections that people are going to have. You just have to do it en masse, and you don't get immediate feedback. That's why it's very good to start as a salesman first, learn how to sell one person, and then just multiply the demographic into infinity and just keep scaling.
Yeah, absolutely. So you did sales and marketing at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one, because here Hungarian companies, we have every big company has the sales department, they have the marketing department. And the biggest mistakes that Hungarian companies have, that the sales and the marketing is always against each other. And they are always blaming the other one. Okay, the sales guys blaming the marketing guys that they didn't make quality leads, and the marketing guys blame the sales guys that they are not good at sales. So it's a good point, and it's good to hear that you did both in one, so that there was no misunderstanding in this case.
Yeah, they have to work together. The marketing guys bring good leads, and the closers still have to close them properly. And they bring the feedback from the closing side. Hey, this is how you make better marketing, and it's a feedback loop. They really should work together more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, from the inside, like you were in, what is the biggest misconception? From the inside, what is the biggest So from inside, like you were living with the Tates, right?
I was not living with them. We'd spend time, sometimes in Romania, sometimes in Dubai.
Okay.
Luke and I like to go to Hawaii.
Okay.
Right? But most of the time, I'd say about 90% of the time was online. And this is actually another very good point, is that a lot of people think that you have to be in person to build an amazing operation, which is true, right? You can get work done in sprints, but people like their environments. They like to work in their own places. And the most important thing is to have A players on your team.
Yeah.
And you can work asynchronously anywhere, right? Don't need to have calls every single day. You can literally just text and type. If you're a professional, it's just information you need to receive, and then you implement and you execute, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what do most people misunderstand of Tate as a brand?
They think that it's easily replicable. Like they think that they can just instantly, take for example, the affiliate marketing system. They think, oh, I'm just gonna go spam a bunch of short form content clips and I'm gonna become viral like him. They misunderstand that there was a whole foundation to be built under that. You need to get a very good and solid YouTube with a lot of good videos, right? Because it's the short form content funneled towards the YouTube, and then the YouTube programs their brains. Because it's not enough. For example, if you're gonna spend $5,000 and you're gonna watch 5 or 6 reels that are 30 seconds each, is that enough time to understand someone and to trust them?
No.
Of course not, right? You're gonna have to watch some hours of long form content. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, understand, hey, how does this work? What's this process like? Do I understand him? Do I like him? Does it make sense? And then you go to the funnel and you talk with them, right? So it's a process. So you need that foundation set up. Before we even launched the short form content, the affiliate marketing system, we already had a YouTube with a lot of videos, right? Tate Speech. Remember?
Oh, we didn't know that.
Yeah, and we had maybe 20K, 30K subscribers already.
Nice.
Right? It was a niche audience, but then it was perfectly primed for everybody who came from a short form to go to the YouTube videos and then be programmed and then go through our funnel and eventually become buyers.
Yeah, absolutely. And does he has the same personality as in the videos?
Definitely on camera, he definitely puts on more of an act.
Yeah, but everyone does that.
Of course, everyone does that, and you have to do that. Like one thing I tell all of my clients, and one thing Tate did as well, is he would practice for his videos. Really? Nobody knows this. People think he just sat down and instantly had some things to say. That's not the case. When you see him go on podcasts, when you see him talk stuff so perfectly, it's because he's said these things already. He's practiced so much already. Nobody is born with the ability to speak and articulate their thoughts instantly, right?
Okay.
It always is practice. So he'd have his talking points, we'd go back and forth, right, with the content ideation because we do it together. And then he'd be, all right, cool. Then he'd walk around, he'd be like, all right, this is how I'm gonna say this point, I'm gonna talk about it like this, and then we choose a location, then we'd film. Every video was done to the highest quality. It's very important.
Okay. Now we're going a little bit into strategy and marketing psychology. Other than the virality, what was the main psychological things that made Andrew Tate the biggest personal brand in the world?
So good question, because other than virality, obviously the short form content was pushed everywhere. Why it resonated was because of 2 factors. First of all, the market was hot for it.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Tate went viral? It was right after COVID or right at the end of COVID kind of thing.
Everyone started doing side hustles, stuff like that.
Everybody had just come out of hibernation. Everybody was inside. Most of the world was locked up. Nobody was traveling. Nobody was doing anything. Most young guys were broke. Usually had no girlfriends.
They had
time, right? And they see this guy traveling the world doing all these amazing things that would resonate with a young man. Then they were like, oh, who is this guy? That's why I say Tate wouldn't go as viral today as he did back then, because the stark contrast of things. Now people are out and about, they've got their lives reestablished.
So was it planned?
Absolutely, right? But I'm just saying the market was ready for it, right? The market was ready for it. There are some things that are outside of your control, the market itself. Like we cannot affect the entire world. But the market was ready for it. And then of course, all the aspects that made Tate so powerful was obviously, he was competent in so many areas. He was an amazing speaker. He had this kickboxing and fighting background, right? Very competent with that. He did door-to-door sales for a long time. He sold his own TV advertisement to companies in the UK as well.
Never heard of that.
Yes, he had loads of experience with sales already. He was big into the pickup scene as well. Like he'd go out at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. years back and go out sober and try to get some girl's number and stuff. Like he was about that life and like developing these things. So all these things together led him to become competent in relationships, in money, in business. So then contrasted with everybody else who was stuck at home and who was completely shit at all these things, right? Huge contrast, big cult-like personality, somebody you look up to, because that's what's required to build a cult-like following, and that's why it was so impactful. Coupled with, obviously, as well, he was funny, right? He had stories to tell, he was entertaining, right? His speaking was A tier. So people are like, oh, who is this guy? He's funny, he pisses me off sometimes, but damn, he has some good lessons, he has some wisdom, because when you live that life, there are so many wisdoms, so many stories and lessons that you learn from it. So all of that together, coupled with the market, right? Sorry to cut you off, coupled with the market, was the psychology behind what made him so powerful.
So can we say that you guys made a funnel for that, and at the top of funnel you guys made controversy, like this feminine stuff also, to get women pissed off, and in the middle of funnel that's where actually, like in the top of funnel, that's where guys actually got interested, and in the middle of funnel you guys and Tate sold to this guy the actual information and what he knows about marketing, what he knows about getting a better person, being a better man, and what was in the bottom of the funnel.
What do you mean?
I mean, so I'm just trying.
The money. That's what was in the bottom of the funnel. The money in our pockets.
Okay, but you guys made videos, and after that it was a landing page with a VSL.
Correct.
That's it.
That's it. And then you talk to a salesman if it was a higher ticket product such as the War Room. Otherwise, you go direct to checkout if it was a $49 product.
And these salesmen were paid performance based.
Of course.
Okay.
You hunt what you eat what you hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much money could the closer guy made for the Hustlers University?
We didn't have closers so much on Hustlers University, the real world, because it's $49. Right?
Okay.
You can go you can go direct to checkout.
It's low ticket.
Exactly. But for the War Room, these.
How much was the War Room? Sorry.
It's $7,979 US.
Ah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. But did he make more money through Hustlers University or the War Room?
Yeah, through Hustlers University ultimately, right?
So.
They made about $129 million in a year. It was their peak year with the real world, and then the War Room did about 19, 20 million in a year.
But he had more profit margin on the War Room, right?
The profit margins for both are very high because this is an info consulting business where you're just selling the platform, and the only really cost that we had was just the team members and paying them.
And teachers.
And teachers, right, as well. Yeah.
Okay. So where do most marketers fail when they try to apply psychology? What do they overcomplicate?
Yeah, so people don't understand the fundamentals. They think there's a bunch of complicated bells and whistles in order to make a marketing operation successful, but I'll explain to you exactly what's required to get people to follow you and buy from you, because those are the only two actions really that are important. So the first thing is they have to trust you. Second thing is your audience has to like you as well. The third thing is that your audience has to believe that their problem can be solved in the first place in general. After this, they have to believe that your offer solves the problem. And then finally, they have to believe, not finally, there's actually one more, they have to believe that your offer solves the problem better than the competition. And now finally, that your offer solves the problem now and not later, urgency at the very end, right? If all these things are in place, then it's guaranteed that somebody buys. When somebody's not buying from you, you have to look, okay, which one of these beliefs are not being installed inside of my audience? Maybe they don't trust me. Right? I have to change my image, I have to do something. Or maybe they believe that another offer is better. So I have to improve my offer, I have to explain my offer better, I have to juxtapose it against other offers and understand the benefits of it, make people understand the benefits of it better, right? A lot of times it's urgency. Why buy now? And, that's, if you're selling to businesses, for example, consulting services, info services, right? Higher paying clientele, a lot of times they're not coming from a place of too much pain where it's like an urgent thing, like they have to, they have to put a Band-Aid on the wound. It's just like, would be nice to make another 100K a month, But they're already making 100K, They're comfortable, they're having a nice life. To make another 100K, they'd have to be inspired. What's the urgency behind that? We have to explain different things. You have to be like, look, AI is going to come and it's going to completely dominate everything. AGI and ASI is going to...
Can you explain that? Because I think we Hungarians don't know what is AGI.
Yeah, I'll explain to you guys. It's actually a very real concern you need to have. AGI, ASI. AGI is artificial general intelligence. ASI is artificial superhuman intelligence, right? Right now, a lot of you probably already using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or a bunch of different AI models, right?
Yeah.
Right? And they're making our lives so much easier, of course. That's only going to keep getting better at an exponential rate. And also another thing to consider is that, do you really think that is all the technology that we currently have? Do you think that's being released all to the public right now? The government agencies have already had, ChatGPT in its current form 20 or 30 years ago, likely, right?
20 years, like back then.
Of course. Of course, brother.
They had AI in 2000.
They had it. Why would they release it to the public? They're always lagging behind in what they're going to release to the public 20, 30 years. So AGI, which is still a concept that is not possible yet, they already have it. They already have ASI. So when AGI comes, which is equivalent to humans, right, then there's no more jobs for humans. Even all the marketing stuff I'm talking about right now, it's going to be almost completely commoditized, right? And ASI is just going to be the nail in the coffin, and then it's over. So you really have a short period of time until about 2029, 2030 is what I would estimate based on different factors, that you need to make an egregious amount of money between now and then. So if you're doing 100K per month, you feel comfortable, you know, you're 21, 22 years old, and you're like, great, I'm doing a lot of money for Hungary. No, you're not. I promise you, 100K, you can spend it like this if you tried, even a little bit, right? You need to make so much more money. You need to step on the gas. You need to completely seize the opportunities in front of you. To leverage AI, amazing, you know, I've spoken to Alex and his team privately as well, and they're using AI in so many different ways. Like, these guys are amazing what they're implementing, right? Because the difference between a good AI and a bad AI usage is simply the knowledge base that you put into it, right? Because AI in its current form cannot learn on its own. You have to feed it, you have to teach it, right? So that's going to be the hedge. Those people who have superior knowledge bases, right, who know all the right psychological triggers, all the right methods to give the AI, and then it outputs something better. So, I mean, to answer your question, that's how you install, one way to install urgency is to get people to understand the opportunity in front of them, how it's not always going to be there, and they're like, okay, cool. Now you understand that, you know, you're doing very well, but you're like, I need to be doing a lot better.
Absolutely.
In the next 3, 4, 5 years. I need to set myself up, because it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, you know. The money printer is going to dry up at some point. It happens with all businesses. Do you think, you know, Blockbuster, do you think Blockbuster thought the monopoly would end? Of course not. They're like, yeah, we're renting all these things, and Netflix comes, boom, shuts down their whole empire inside of like a year or two. Can happen any time. But if you're the owner of Blockbuster and you already made billions, who cares?
Even if, like, for us, for videographers, for marketing agencies, like this AI gonna take our place, and we have to implement the knowledge of AI.
Completely, man. Like our videographer here, you know, he's amazing, he's very talented, but imagine the robot does everything that he did. It's not impossible, right? I mean,
I think we just cannot believe that in 5 years it can actually happen. And that's what you just actually told me, that this exponentiality or
technology exponentially gets better.
And we cannot understand that, okay, in this exponential curve, are we here or are we here?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta overshoot it. You gotta think it's already much more advanced. And I mean, hopefully the smart people in your audience will understand, like, really how much it's growing and how powerful it is. Because you'd have as much urgency as me, and I don't need to work. You're working obviously because you want to. You don't have to work, right? But you'd have the same urgency as us if you understood exactly what is happening.
Yeah. Like, I'm just super stressed now, man. Thanks for saying this stuff. I have to work like 5 times harder now.
That's what it is, man.
And what would you say? How, like, where can people learn AI? Of course, we have endless YouTube videos and we have endless knowledge, but you're coming from selling courses. Where do you think there is the most value about AI and artificial intelligence?
So AI is actually very simple. AI, you simply have to give it so usually what you have inside ChatGPT or Claude and these different models is you have like context files, right? Where you can like give it instructions, custom instructions, you know, to complete certain tasks, and you give it knowledge bases. Now, as I explained to you already, is the knowledge bases are the difference between a good AI and a bad AI. For example, like, take my VSL writer, for example. Okay. I've done very well with multiple verticals and different niches with VSLs. Many of them, after even I left Tate Operation, I've done 8 figures and above as well. The way this AI writes these VSLs is like 90% on the first try as good as I would write it. And I was completely astonished. But I had to feed it, okay, these are all the psychological triggers that I use. Here are all the word patterns. Here's also hypnosis elements that I utilize. Put this all into the AI, teach it, give it context to put them all together, then bam. Then it has an output. And then you obviously have to teach it as well. It's the way that you teach it is not just, hey, this is good, I like this. You have to tell it what's bad also. Here's a good example, here's a bad example, over and over and over, and recursively it learns. And then you're not going to reach perfection with the AI models as they currently are. You have a VSL and it'll give it to you 95% perfect. Okay, great. Change some things. But what did we do here? We did this in a matter of hours rather than weeks. Right? We saved ourselves so much time. So if people want to learn AI and get better, obviously I would recommend, paying for education, paying for people who know what they're doing, consult with them, etc. But if you really want to just think about it simply, for anything that you're an expert at, think about how AI learns, give it context, give it instructions. It's very logical, right? Be very thorough with your instructions and then teach it. Have it give you an output, give feedback on that output, very specific feedback, right? Good, bad, and then it learns over time.
Okay, thanks, man. So now I want to talk a little bit to broader audience.
Sure.
For people who are trying to start their personal brands or they are trying to start their online journey, at what point should creators start monetizing? Like early or late? In the beginning, you have to know that, okay, I want to sell this coaching offer, I want to sell this course or anything. Or should people just start posting in a niche that they are actually enthusiastic about, and after they're going to figure it out?
Yeah, so it depends. Right? Obviously, at the very start, you have to have an offer in mind because you build the marketing around the offer. Right? It's not the other way around. Once you have the audience already built out without thinking of an offer, it's much harder to fit that offer to your audience versus doing it from the start. Right? That's one thing. Now, it depends on what you're selling. If you're in a niche that's a bit smaller and it's more technical, you can offer from the start because people understand the value that you're providing them.
Let's look at an example. For example, real estate. Let's look at a very good example. One professional real estate guy want to sell coaching or courses about real estate, investments and everything about that.
Right.
Okay, so for that, how would you do that?
Yeah, so for that guy, it depends on his authority, like how much real estate has he sold, how much volume, how many deals, etc. And also what are his methods, how good they are compared to everybody else. If the value is very clearly presented to people, then cool. You can start promoting from day one. You have the VSL, have the funnel set up, because the value of the offer in and of itself is powerful enough to sell. You don't need the personal brand attached to it necessarily. You could even run ads to it, cold traffic, and you would have a profitable business likely, right? Now, the other scenario where you need a personal brand built up first is when you're selling something like mindset coaching, or you're studying like some personal development, or even what Tate would do, his money education platform, the Hustlers University. People sold because they loved Tate, right? That's why they bought. They viewed him as an authority on money. Are the methods inside the real world in Hustlers University unique to that platform? No, everybody does crypto, everybody can do e-commerce, everybody can do Amazon FBA, etc. All these models, they're out there already. People bought because of Tate. So when that's the case, you need to have the brand built up, because otherwise, if you sell from day one, people are like, all right, you're just selling me a course. Who are you? Do I even like you? I don't know you, right? So you have to have the brand built up. So it depends what it is. For most people watching this, they're not going to be wanting to go super famous. They're not going to be wanting to do.
Yeah, that's a great question also, because not everyone wants to go famous. Even you.
I'm niche. If you're watching this, I'm very lucky to be watching this, or watching Alex too.
Yeah, because you said you want to go private and actually like helping people by consulting. But okay, we talked about this real estate guide. For example, he's a professional. He's a really good expert at real estate investment. Should he focusing on the delivery, that he makes coaching 100% absolutely perfect, and all his clients, all his students are making fucking good results? Or should he make it like, okay, I focus 80% on this and I focus 20% on my brand, on my personal brand? What is the percentage? What is the good number for that? What do you think?
Yeah, so for him, if he's going to be obviously targeting a higher paying clientele, most of his videos have to be value videos, right? Presentations, some mindset value videos where he explains different things about the business. If he's going to be selling like a business opportunity to get into real estate for a complete beginner, that's different, right? Then you have to be focusing obviously on more top of the funnel content, going a bit more viral, showing off more lifestyle, right?
I mean, the more you're focusing on high ticket, the more the delivery has to be perfect, and the more you're focusing on low ticket, the more your brand has to be controversial and actually viral.
The delivery always has to be perfect. Your offer, your product always has to be amazing, right? But it's just different in terms of how much more you're gonna be lifestyle selling, etc. Because like for example, man, if I showed you a Lamborghini or a Patek Philippe watch, you're like, all right, cool, I've seen that before, I've driven it, I have that, whatever, right?
But in Hungary, I'm sorry, but in Hungary, like these course selling gurus, it's not even started, and that's what I told you like 2 days ago, yesterday when we were talking, that I can see that in 2026, like Q3, Q4, around like 1 year from now at this time, there are gonna be like 5 to 10 guys who will print money, and they're gonna be selling courses about how to make money or how to scale, how to start a business. But in America, like in the US, it's over. Can we say that? Lifestyle marketing content.
It's gotten a lot more saturated. The barrier to entry for such, if you want to get into it, it's much higher. Like, you can't just have a Lambo anymore and flex. Like, everybody has a Lambo. You gotta be pushing like a Jesko or a Koenigsegg or a Bugatti, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a lot harder. It can still be done, like if you're a super rich guy and you have a yacht, mega yacht, obviously that's most people don't have that, yeah. But in general, those guys don't want to be super public either. When you have that kind of money, you don't want to be that big of a public presence, right? So yeah, it's just a lot harder now in America, especially.
Yeah. But in Hungary, if you guys want to start, there's coaching offer or anything like that. If you make a good brand and if you actually can provide value, you're gonna be printing.
You can literally take all of the methods that have worked in the West for English speakers, apply them to Hungary, and just completely dominate the market.
Absolutely, I think it's a very, very good market.
Huge arbitrage opportunity right now if you can take advantage of it, if you have the right knowledge for it.
And could you, like, with your consulting with Cloud, could you have Hungarian entrepreneurs for that?
We have clients from all over the world. We have clients from Poland, from Slovakia. We have clients in South America. And they're all taking the methods and then they're applying it to their language. Obviously, all the program materials of my consulting is in English, right? Or Spanish. I speak Spanish too. Yeah. You just translate that to Hungarian and apply the methods. Simple as that.
Okay, but in Cloud, like, how do you guys work with a client? How should we imagine that?
Yeah, so we work on a done with you basis where you get access to our consulting, you get access to our larger mastermind group, you get calls with us, right? You get access to my whole 8-week transformation program, which is videos and written lessons on every single topic. We recently just refilmed a bunch of modules. We have a new VSL writer, YouTube script writer, we have an email writer. We have AI has automated a lot of these things to a very high level. So even somebody who's just starting their offer from scratch, right? Previously, even a year ago, would have taken you, weeks to set up. Now you can get it set up inside of a week if you apply the things properly. Set up all the AI models, boom. Now it's all super automated. You remove the need for a bunch of team members. It's just you, maybe a couple others, and that's it. And then you have a lean operation, high profits, high margins, and then you can scale, right? Very simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, if you have the opportunity, I bring him to Hungary, be thankful for me. And let's make that work.
He did good. I met him. I met him by chance through a friend.
Yeah.
Made a good impression on me. Him and his business partners, and now we're here. So he somehow pulled it off.
We met at Ötkert.
Ötkert.
Yeah.
What a place.
Okay, so I'm gonna have 3 questions for you, man.
Sure.
Like usually in the end of this podcast there is 1 question, but I wanna have 3 right now. What that one advice would be for a 20-year-old who is starting now their personal brand and want to actually make money online? What would you tell him? What niche would you suggest to go deep in?
So that's really a hard question because people have so many different talents and competencies. You're an agency guy with your content team. He's a videographer. Another girl's a designer, whatnot, right? You have to find out what you're good at. And if you're not good at anything yet, then I wouldn't recommend starting a personal brand because you're putting content out there for what? You're not good at anything. I would find someone to work with, right? Some mentor, some larger company perhaps where you can learn on the job, get paid to do it, then later on you can launch a personal brand. But if you're already good at something or you have a business or something like this, then yeah, absolutely, right? You have some social proof behind you, you can launch a brand, and that's basically it. Either get a job or launch your brand.
Okay, second question. What would your advice be for a 30-year-old who has a business that is stuck at, let's say, 2 mil per year level, something like that. Let's say he has a restaurant, something like that.
Okay.
What marketing advice would you have to him? And that's also interesting for me because these are my clients.
Right. So for a restaurant, people come obviously because of the food, but I would give it just a whole branding upgrade. I mean, you're the best at it, man. You're best at creating the designs, creating these videos, and it just creates the perception of something that's much more high status at the end of the day. People want to come to these places not only because the food's great, but because of the experience and how they feel. You understand this best. I wouldn't really do a personal brand for a restaurant.
I mean, for the owner, if I would start a restaurant nowadays, I would absolutely do like a founder-led content, and I will show when it's good, when it's bad, when we have bad times, when it sucks, when we have some problems, and after that, if I can communicate that, okay, from this we came to this, then people will love it.
Get some pretty girl spokesperson. That always works.
Yeah, and I think like you guys should do like absolutely employer branding content to get involved. Your employees should be get involved. Like people love to see what's inside and not just only what is your end product, what you sell, what's inside that company.
That's actually a very good point. Is that they back in like I think the 1930s, or it was a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
They were trying to sell beer in a different way, and they're like, what can we show about this beer that's gonna make it sell, and it's gonna sell more than the competition? And they're like, our beer is made with hops. Ooh, hops? Nobody knew hops was a common ingredient in beer back then. But they show the whole process, they show how it's made, and we put hops in this. This is this barley, natural ingredient here. Amazing. Sold like crazy, just because they came into the factories and they saw the whole process, how it works, how the workers are in there. Cool, I have more trust in this product now. So you can do a similar thing with the restaurants, right? You can show how the food is made behind the scenes, the chef cooking up, smiling at the camera, preparing something, and personal brands can also work. You see Nusret, you see like a bunch of other restaurants that have these, charismatic, owners or chefs at the restaurants themselves who are pulling this off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vectors.
Yeah, and when I'm always saying you have to try out stuff, you have to test it. If Tate wouldn't have that one sentence, what color is your Bugatti? He would probably test it out. He would do some more stuff like this.
Yeah, that's the thing. He said so many different things until something stopped.
And you guys didn't know, like
there is no science really to it. I mean, you have inflammatory. You get better at making hooks and copywriting worthy lines to say to people. But different things are going to hit. You just got to keep pushing out. It's the most important thing.
Yeah, like everyone should be absolutely moving fast and reacting like really super fast, because I believe that's an interesting topic also, because we do Gen Z marketing. We are focusing on, like, for our clients, target audience is Gen Z, and I can feel that Gen Z people, like we hate Gen Z marketing, because boomers, like these 40 to 30 year olds, are always 2 months behind us.
Yeah.
And they when a trend is like, oh, it's like over for us, they start to do those trends. And that's why I'm telling that those entrepreneurs who can be fast and reacting fast to these trends, to the algorithm and everything like that, those will be successful.
Yeah, 100%. You cannot sell like horses for public transportation now the same way you could do it 100 years ago. You're late by 100 years. So it's the same thing, right? It's just now the time frame is just so much shorter for these trends and events. You have to be quick. You have to, honestly, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to be living online.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone wants to make a personal brand as big as Andrew's, what those steps would be that you would take right now?
The steps that I would take, if I want to completely lay it out as simply and as concisely as possible, understand what your offer is, because you're not just going to launch this to make no money. We're here to make money, ultimately, right? Understand what your offer is. Understand then a marketing plan behind that. What topics, what angles, what psychological triggers you're going to use, right? What assets you have in order to be able to launch this. Get started with YouTube ASAP. YouTube long form is the most powerful way to make 6 figures per month as quickly as possible, because the algorithm matches your videos with what people actually want to watch, right? Then push traffic on Instagram, on TikTok towards that YouTube. Have the funnel already built out as well, VSL, landing page, have that completely top tier, and then just sell and keep growing more and more and more, right? Just repeating more stuff of the same, and then obviously understanding what trends are happening. Leverage AI to automate as many things as possible, and then just be consistent, go super hard, have an A-player team of guys who are on the same level. One very important thing here, especially applicable to Hungarian people, is that, how many entrepreneurs and successful people who are on this wavelength of thinking do we typically know on a daily basis or speak to? It's not very common, is it? Right?
No.
Right. Most people around, have very closed-minded or small thinking, right? It's not like going to the US and you see a bunch of crazy cars and rich people everywhere, hustle and bustle. I've been here in Budapest. It's a bit more chill. It's a bit more slow.
We are not in a hurry. We think that we have time, right? But I don't know why. I mean, like we Hungarians, like Hungarian entrepreneurs, we are not big on YouTube, and that was interesting for me because we use YouTube for entertainment. We just big Hungarian YouTubers are not the ones who actually giving some value, just entertainment, stuff like that.
People need the value. They're going to get it from somewhere, either from Hungarian people or from outside, right? And if they can get in their own native language, Hungarian, then obviously it's much easier for them to consume, right? So, but the most important thing, as I was saying before, is that get around these people who are on that wavelength, who are winners, who are here to work, have urgency, right? Be around them, because that's going to affect your mindset and your energy so much. You're going to get so much more done, right? If you're staying around your friends, you're staying around family members, you know, it's great to have friends and family. You should not abandon them, but you need to definitely limit some time with them. If you're trying to build, if you're trying to become better, if you're trying to scale your business to the next level, yeah, it's important you get around these really competent people. And if you can find geniuses to work with, right? See special people that you only come across sometimes, do everything in your power to spend as much time around them, because you know what they say, emulate the greats and you become a great.
Nice.
Very simple.
And just one more sentence for this, we talked about this like 2 days ago, that Hungarian people are too nonchalant, like everyone thinks that we know everything, and especially like it's just me and your case. You were here, we just met, and like my Hungarian friends would say, "Oh, he's working for Andrew." No, just be chill and be like this with him, and don't overdo it. But why the fuck wouldn't I ask you to make a podcast with me?
Yeah.
Why the fuck wouldn't I ask you to give me knowledge? Because we don't know shit, but we think we know everything.
Look, even the more you know, the less you know. Every single person that I come across, even after having, you know, a decent level of success, I'm like, what can I learn from this person? You know, if I know this person knows what they're talking about, I'll shut up, I'll listen, I'll ask questions, right, to understand it. Even if I know this person doesn't know what they're talking about, then I'm gonna be like, all right, what compelled this person to say this to me? What is it about the way that I'm coming across that made them speak to me like this?
Yeah, and it's
both ways you learn.
And that's the same in marketing. You have to think with the other people's head. Like you have to think what the target audience feels like, in which situation in his life is he.
And it's another thing important with marketing as well. Is like you can think it's amazing what you have. The content's going to be amazing. It looks great in theory, but what matters is how the market receives it and how many dollars, how many forint you put into your pockets.
Yeah. Forint. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Okay, man. I think we're good.
Awesome.
Srácok, szerintem elképesztően jó adás volt. Itt van az Instagramja, YouTube-ja, illetve mindenféle lehetősége Elinek, és nyilván kövessétek a Cap Marketinget is. Jövünk még nagyon hasonló értékes emberekkel. And thanks, Eli, for being here.
Thanks a lot.